Malcolm Marx just revealed the most shocking decision of his career. In an exclusive interview released today, the SA Rugby Player of the Year admitted that Rassie Erasmus offered him the vice captaincy role earlier this year, and he turned it down. Quote, Rassie called me into his office and said, Malcolm, I want you to be vice captain alongside Sia. You've earned it with your performances and leadership. And I said, Coach, I appreciate it, but no, I don't want that responsibility. Rassie was stunned. He wasn't expecting that answer. The best hooker in world rugby rejected one of the highest honors in the sport. This is unprecedented. This is a player choosing performance over titles. Here's the context that makes this absolutely mind-blowing. Malcolm has been one of the most consistent Springboks for years, named SA Rugby Player of the Year for 2025, a leader in the pack, the guy teammates look up to. By all accounts, he was the perfect choice for vice captain. But according to this interview, Malcolm doesn't want the extra pressure. He wants to focus purely on his game. No media obligations, no leadership responsibilities, just playing rugby at the highest level. Let me read you Malcolm's exact words about why he rejected the role, because they're powerful. Quote, I've seen what captaincy does to players. The media scrutiny, the sponsor commitments, the responsibility for 30 other guys. Sia handles it amazingly, but I know myself. I know I perform best when I'm focused solely on my role as hooker, throwing in the lineouts, scrummaging, tackling. That's where my value is, not doing press conferences or making speeches. I'd rather be a world-class hooker than an average captain. That's brutal self-awareness. And if you're not subscribed right now, you're missing shocking leadership decisions like this every day. Hit that subscribe button right now, because what I'm about to reveal about Rassie's reaction will blow your mind. Here's how Rassie reacted when Malcolm said no. According to the interview, Rassie was quiet for a full minute, just staring at Malcolm. Quote, Rassie finally said, in my 15 years of coaching, nobody has ever turned down captaincy. Players usually beg for it. You're the first person to say no. I told him, Coach, I'm not saying no because I don't care about the team. I'm saying no because I want to give the team my best, and my best comes when I'm not distracted by captaincy duties. Rassie eventually nodded and said, I respect that. That's maturity. That's a coach learning something new. Now, here's what makes Malcolm's reasoning so interesting. He cited specific examples of players whose form dropped after becoming captain. Quote, I've watched guys become captain and suddenly they're worried about team tactics, about media, about politics, and their individual performance suffers. I don't want that to happen to me. I'm at my peak right now. Why risk that for a title? That's protecting his performance. Here's what Sia said when he found out Malcolm rejected the role. According to Malcolm, Sia was surprised but supportive. Quote, Sia texted me, brother, I'm shocked, but I understand. Captaincy is heavy. Some days I wish I could just focus on playing. You're smart to recognize what you want. That message meant everything to me. Sia gets it because he lives it every day. That's respect between leaders. If you're watching without subscribing, you're missing the biggest Springbok revelations. Thousands subscribed after videos like this. Hit subscribe right now, because next, I'm telling you about the other Springbok leaders Malcolm took wrestles from. Now, let's talk about who Rassie chose instead for vice captain. After Malcolm said no, Rassie went to his second choice, and according to sources, that choice was Eben Etzebeth. Quote from Malcolm, Eben was always going to be in the conversation. He's been around forever, commands respect, and unlike me, Eben wants that responsibility. He thrives on it. So it worked out perfectly. That's recognizing who's better suited. Here's what makes this decision controversial in some circles. Some people think Malcolm should have accepted for the good of the team. Quote from a rugby critic, when the national coach offers you captaincy, you say yes. It's not about you, it's about serving your country. Malcolm's decision is selfish. But Malcolm disagrees. Quote, how is it selfish to want to give my country the best version of myself? I'm serving the Springboks more by being an elite hooker than a distracted vice captain. Let me tell you what other Springbok think about Malcolm's decision. According to sources, reactions were mixed. Some players said, quote, Malcolm's honest. He knows himself. That's rare. But others said, if Rassie asks you to lead, you lead. No excuses. The squad isn't unanimous on whether Malcolm made the right call. Now, here's what Malcolm said about the pressure of captaincy. Quote, people don't see what captains deal with. Sia gets blamed for losses even if he plays great, gets questioned about selections he doesn't control, gets asked political questions he shouldn't have to answer. That's exhausting. And I don't want that. I want to wake up, train hard, play hard, go home. Simple. That's choosing peace over prestige. Here's what Malcolm's wife said about the decision. According to the interview, she was relieved. Quote, "My wife said, 'Thank God, I didn't want you taking on more stress.' She knows how much pressure I already put myself to perform. Adding captaincy would have been too much. She supports my decision 100%. That's family understanding the cost." Before I reveal what this means for Malcolm's legacy, hit subscribe. You do not want to miss the implications. Here's what this decision means for Malcolm's legacy. Some will say he lacked ambition, that he should have accepted the honor. But Malcolm doesn't care. Quote, "I don't need a captaincy title to validate my career. I've won 2 World Cups. I'm the best hooker in the world. I've given everything for the Springboks. If people think less of me because I said no to vice captain, that's their problem. I know what's best for me and the team." That's confidence in his decision. Now, let's talk about the precedent this sets. Malcolm might be the first Springbok to openly reject captaincy, but he might not be the last. Quote from a sports psychologist, "Malcolm is normalizing the idea that players can say no to roles that don't suit them. That's healthy. Not everyone is built for leadership, and that's okay. Teams need elite performers just as much as they need captains. That's changing rugby culture." Here's what Rassie said publicly after Malcolm's rejection. In a press conference, Rassie was asked about vice captaincy. Quote, "We have multiple leaders in this squad. Some lead with armbands, some lead with performance. Malcolm Marx is a leader whether he has a title or not. His work ethic, his consistency, that leads by example." That's Rassie protecting Malcolm from criticism. Let me tell you about the specific responsibilities Malcolm didn't want. Quote, "Vice captains do sponsor appearances, media interviews, mentoring programs. That's hours every week that I'd rather spend in the gym or studying line-out calls. I'm not saying those things aren't important. I'm saying they're not where I add value. Let someone who enjoys that stuff do it. That's knowing your strengths." Now, here's what this reveals about modern athletes. They're more willing to set boundaries, to say no even to prestigious offers. Quote, "Previous generations would never turn down captaincy, but our generation understands mental health, understands that you can't do everything. I'd rather be excellent at one thing than mediocre at many. That's generational wisdom." Here's what Malcolm wants young players to learn from his decision. Quote, "Don't accept responsibilities just because they sound impressive. Ask yourself, will this make me better at my core job? If no, it's okay to decline. Focus on what you do best. That's how you maximize your impact." That's mentorship without the title. Smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications because tomorrow's video reveals the full list of Springbok leaders for 2027. Drop a comment. Did Malcolm make the right decision or should he have...